Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcoring Guides, being my guide for Transformers Devastation on Prime difficulty. Today we're doing Chapter 5 entitled To Cybertron. This is the Sideswipe campaign, and this one is going to be a pretty short chapter, all things considered, and it contains mostly just boss fights. The first boss fight is Starscream, the final and last time we have to deal with him, and this is probably one of his hardest fights. This is definitely the hardest fight of him, specifically, because the camera is all kind of wacky. But if you move the camera yourself, it will tend to kind of unlock on him, so keep that in mind. If he does kind of get away, you could just not move the camera and it should, in theory, focus on him a bit easier. But I didn't know that because, well, I kept moving the camera. But basically, his fight's the same as it was last time. You pretty much just want to go and try to use a loudspeaker on him as much as you possibly can to get that free stun. If he does transform, you can either just wind up for a vehicle attack to kind of dash toward him and hit him out of it, or you can always use the loudspeaker to knock him out of transformed state and then hit him back on the ground. Yeah, don't worry about the camera too much. Just try to hit as much as you possibly can. Dodge, when you think you're going to get hit, that kind of thing. And then it shouldn't be really too difficult to do. Because to be fair, Starscream is definitely one of the more weaker of the boss fights. He has his ups, but he also has his downs too. Like, he's definitely a lot simpler. The thing that makes him tough at all is basically him just, transforming and flying around. But typically he always goes for that nosedive attack that kind of ends up getting, him screwed over anyway. But there you go. That's Starscream. No SS rank, but just S rank. That's fine. Now this fight is going to get really, really hard because this one took me out of it for a while. Basically, my suggestion is just focus on Blitzwing, and if these guys, not the shield guys, but if the ground soldiers get next to you, take them out as you see fit, because they're going to be in your way. I use the ultimate attack just to kind of get rid of them in general, because they're going to get really obnoxious. Now, when the shield guys start to get close to you, that's when you want to take them down too. Or if you feel like they're going to become a bigger threat, because the thing is, the shield guys are the worst part of this fight, and this is why right here. If you hit them with a weapon, not just the projectile, like the projectile will be fine enough, but if you hit them with a weapon, they will knock you out of witch time, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want to have that happen. Now, the reason why I say try not to destroy these guys and focus on Blitzwing more often is because the shield guys, yeah, you want to kill them, but the ground soldiers, you don't want to kill them too fast, I guess, because Blitzwing will summon more guys eventually. I don't know if it's a health thing. I haven't really exactly confirmed that. I know I'm supposed to be the guide guy, but basically, after you kill these regular mooks off, eventually more will spawn. And it's either because you killed them, or it's because of health. If it's because of them, yeah, you might want to keep them around. But if it is because of a health issue, like if it's like a halfway health thing, then yeah, kill off the mooks first then. So just, I'm not really good at this guide stuff, am I? Yeah, either way, still, try to keep your focus mainly on Blitzwing, because he's going to be the one that gives you the most time for witch time and stuff. And if these guys get in your way and they start to become kind of annoying, then just, go for them, basically. It's all about just dodging a lot, which, typically the entire game at this point practically is that entire thing regardless. But, once you get the time alone with Blitzwing is when you want to start using the loudspeaker to kind of just mash him into stun. And if he transforms into his jet, you can usually use loudspeaker, which has some pretty interesting distance that you wouldn't think it would actually have. But if you use loudspeaker at a somewhat decent distance, at least mine's SS, and that's probably why it's doing that, then you can knock him out of his jet form and then knock him back on the ground. Yeah, Blitzwing's fight's pretty much the same thing as it was last time, but this time he has more enemies with him. And it took me a while to actually beat him down, because those guys were just kicking my ass. I had to restart the chapter. It was so bad. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, I wasn't focusing very well and what have you. And either way, there we go. The shield guys also made it worse too, considering the fact that because they popped out and they have shields, you can't really hit them unless you break the shield. And if you're in a mid combo and you're trying to take down the boss and you accidentally hit them while in combo, yeah, you're going to get hit out of witch time or whatever, or even the combo itself, and that's just not fun. So again, when the shield guys get in the way, yeah, then start going for them. Unless you want to take them out first. That could also always be a good idea. So Shockwave himself, the laser attack is really, really super telegraphed. You can definitely tell when it's going to come, where it's going to go, that kind of thing. These electric balls, you know, I believe they do start to eventually come back toward us, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, Shockwave is just about as any other fight as it could be. Okay, never mind. They don't home it on you. The only difference between his boss fight and most is the fact that he has that laser attack. The laser attack is probably his best and strongest attack. And as you can see here, just like with Minosaur, which I think Shockwave actually is a part of, if I'm not mistaken. Just like with Minosaur itself, you know, the electric balls can be used to sort of gain witch time from them and just reuse them if you wanted to. So after a little while, he'll spawn clones. He does that laser thing, just jump over it, easy enough. He'll spawn clones, and then laser things itself, just, you know, dodge out of the way. They're not strangely enough too complicated to deal with, thankfully. So it's just somewhat simple platforming just to kind of just get away from them in general. And, you know, they always kind of go in a certain direction. You figure that out pretty well just by, you know, watching where they're going to go. It's not too complicated, thankfully. But Shockwave's fight itself is pretty easy. Also, whenever you're doing that trample attack, I don't know exactly what it's called, but basically when you're on an enemy in vehicle form and you're driving on them, the best way to get off them is to, or when it's about to end, the best way to end it is going toward a wall, so that way you can kind of like right around here, you know, you want to face the camera toward the wall, and that way you can get a nice free shot on somebody. He of course had that dodge thing that he did, which allowed him to basically get free iframes to dodge away from the loudspeaker, but either way, he might not do it all the time. Even if Shockwave does do it more often than not for everybody else, or even if he does it more often than like everyone else does, you still have like the other bosses that you can use that trick on too, so there's that. I haven't really shown off much because we haven't really had a good opportunity to use it. But still, yeah, Shockwave is pretty much the same fight as any other boss is, just with a few extra added, you know, iframes here and there and few moves. And yeah, you can stop him from spawning shadow clones just by hitting him. It's pretty nice. Forcing him to parry is a way to go. Anyway, that's it for this part. See you guys in the next one. And we're almost done. So yeah, part 6 is next. And as always, take care, everybody.